Welcome back everyone to more BR 2019 content here at Knee Pit Gaming. Today's video focuses on version 0.1 and when that's going to be made available to the testers. Now, if you're new to the project and you have questions about what this is about and how it works, please go back to the beginning video, the very first video in the BR 2019 playlist, and pick it up from there, as a lot of questions are answered in that and subsequent videos, along with some gameplay that I've recorded along the way during my own personal testing. In this video, I want to talk about the release date or approximate release date for version 0.1 to the testers, as well as how I want to handle further information and feedback at the very end of the video. So let's go ahead and get started. The one question everybody wants to know is, when is version 0.1 going to be made available to the testers? And the answer to that in general terms is next week. That's my general plan. I want one additional week, the Vegas weekend, to gather some more data, do some more observations, and make a few final tweaks before releasing version 0.1 to the testers. At this particular moment, I don't know exactly what day that will be. And of course, I can't guarantee that the actual release will be next week. But as of now, things are looking very good for next week as a general release date. When the actual day arrives and the content is available to the testers, I'll do yet another video here on the channel for you guys. But for right now, a couple more things that I want to address in today's video. First thing I want to do is go back through the file structure a little bit and point out a few things that I believe are very important going forward in the project. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about Discord and how information will be shared and feedback will be offered in the project. Discord is going to be a way for everyone to have an opportunity to see the information about the project as well as see the feedback that the testers are giving, even if you're not part of the process and don't actually have the test files. So let's go ahead and get started with the file structure. Now, if you've seen the very first video in this BR 2019 playlist, then you've seen this basic file structure format before. But a few things I want to point out here that are going to be vital as we move forward in the project. Number one, I have tried to put as many README and if FAQ type of information documents in here as I possibly can. The reason I did that is because a lot of issues can be averted and a lot of questions can be answered by simply going through these documents ahead of time rather than waiting until you have an issue before you look at them. So it is very important that you read these at the very beginning as soon as you get the files. Again, that will answer a lot of questions and save you probably a lot of trouble if you will do that first. I've tried to put all the information in here I could possibly think that you might need. So again, please read these documents. The FAQ and README file is the one that we spent quite a bit of time going line by line through and answering a lot of questions in the very first video in this series. The version document file is going to be another very important file, as this is where I will be letting you guys know what has been added or changed from version to version. Of course, right now we're getting ready for the very first version, version 0.1. So you'll find a lot of information in there related to the general idea of this version and what the focus is for this particular version. Then as we move through the other folders, of course, the EXE file, that's the easiest. You can see I've put an installation instruction as well as some additional information in here as well. But this is where you're going to find the modified EXE with the updated physics. Then we go into driver ratings. This is a purely optional part of it. In fact, really the entire project is optional except for the EXE if you want to get the updated physics. But again, I'm trying to give you as much information as I possibly can. So these two files will simply give you information about how I set up the AI driver ratings and what kind of experience I'm looking for with the AI. And these are very important because these ratings and these types of scales are going to give you an idea of how I came about the different values that I use in the track INI files, for example. So again, very important to read this information, regardless of whether or not you intend to use these in your own game. Also, I plan on having at least one example baseline type setup as going forward. And of course, I have some notes in there about setups and what they are not, and what will be included going forward. But again, my plan for version 0.1 is to have at least one baseline setup available for you guys. We've already talked about the EXE folder, and then we go into the track files. Currently, this is the list of tracks that I plan to have included in version 0.1. As I mentioned if we go back out to the FAQ, as I mentioned in there, as I've made a few changes since the very first video, the track files that you're going to see in here are going to be either BR tracks or default tracks. Particularly, the default tracks will be used if there's not a BR version of a particular track that I want to include for testing purposes. What you will not see in here are any non-BR or default tracks. And the reason for that is I'm not interested in making any changes to anyone else's work. If a particular track author would like to have their track or tracks involved in the project, then by all means, they can contact me at kneepitgaming@gmail.com, and we will discuss that further. But without express permission, I will be making no changes to any non-BR tracks or non-default tracks. And again, within this particular folder for track files, you'll see there are some installation instructions. For those of you who are very familiar with adding and removing files, installing new tracks, and so on, this will be sort of old hat for you. Nothing new here, but again, please read these instructions, even if you don't think you need them, just in case there's one or two pieces of information in there that you do need. There's also a description file in here where I go into detail about what type of files might be included in these different track folders and what their role is within the mod itself. So again, as much information as I can possibly give you guys. So that's going to do it for our basic discussion of the folder layout. Now let's move over to Discord and continue the video there. Going forward with the project, I plan to use the Kneepit Gaming Discord quite a bit as an opportunity for me to get new information out to the testers, as well as receive feedback from the testers. Now, the way I currently have this set up, whenever you first join the Kneepit Gaming channel, you will be dropped into the general conversation channel. And for those of you who might not already be a member of the Kneepit Gaming Discord, you can find that link on the homepage of the YouTube channel. It is located in the top right-hand corner on the banner itself, next to the Twitter handle. Once you have actually joined the Kneepit Gaming Discord, you're going to be dropped into the general conversation channel, which is where all general inquiries and questions should be geared. But I have a specific channel for BR 2019 testing and a few rules of the road, if you will, regarding this particular channel. First, everyone is allowed to read and follow these posts. I want everyone to have an opportunity to see the information as well as the feedback that the testers are providing as this project progresses. I will continue to do YouTube videos on the Kneepit Gaming channel for this project, but if you're looking for more in-depth and specific information, then the BR 2019 testing channel is the place to get it. So anyone will be able to read and follow the posts and the information, but I do request that the only people who either post or reply to a post in this particular channel are those that are actively involved in the testing of the mod. The reason for that is very simple, and I mentioned it down here in number 3, is that will keep this space very clean and make it much easier for everyone to find information. Rule number 2 is be respectful of others, and that means no adult or offensive language. The quickest way to get yourself removed from not only this Discord, but the YouTube channel as well, is to be disrespectful of other people or to use either adult or offensive language. That will get you removed, as I have no hesitation to get rid of people who prove themselves to be generally useless to humanity. So please keep that in mind. Also, there are filters in place both on the YouTube channel as well as here in the Discord to take care a lot of the adult language. So if you make a post and see that it is not showing up, it might not have been deleted. The system might have automatically flagged it based on the language it contains. So again, just something to be aware of. And then finally, number 3 is please keep any posts or replies in this particular channel related to the BR 2019 project itself. As I mentioned, as a part of the very first rule, this will keep the space clean as well as make it easier for everyone to find the information. Now, if you are, going back to number 1 here, if you are not a tester of the mod and you have questions about the mod itself, please put those in the general conversation tab, just so again we can keep things nice and neat. So that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, whenever version 0.1 is ready to be sent out to all the testers, I will do yet another video to let you know. But for now, that's going to do it. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more BR 2019 content here at Knee Pit Gaming.